Well, good morning, everybody. How are you all today? Welcome back to another, I guess this is kind of like a semi-impromptu live stream that I'm doing today. Um I hope you've all been well. Um yeah, so I've just felt that it's been a little while since I've done a live stream, and I felt that I just wanted to try and get one out of my system. And then I realized that then I found out that Aquavite was hosting a live stream today as well, at a bit earlier than what he normally does. I'm thinking, oh, damn, okay, I better try and get a short one in. Um, get a short one in first before he starts up. So I thought, yeah, here we go. Um, Something that I just kind of organized yesterday. So here's my little semi impromptu live chat. Today I've brought with me another Starward whiskey. Today I've got for you the Starward Twofold. So I'm just gonna pour a dram. There we go. It's a nice little pour. All right. So I've poured the whiskey. Got that there. Look at that nice. It's such a beautiful color there. It's like a really nice honey dark color. It's beautiful. I haven't poured myself a glass of this for a while, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. So here we go. All right, so oh wow, on this kind of smells like a young, almost like a young Australian bourbon to a certain degree. Definitely vanilla in there. Good morning, Al. How are you, mate? Man, beautiful nose. Vanilla, I'd say definitely definitely some strong wood notes coming through there. It does have a young smell to it, so you do have a bit of that. It's kind of like that alcohol. It has like a young alcohol smell to it. I don't really know how to describe that all too well, but yeah, I'm sure some of you would probably understand what I mean by that. Has a dusty smell to it, but again, very fresh, very clean. What's that now? Watching the soccer or the football, I should say. Are you? Uh, how is the Wild Turkey 101? I almost bought myself a bottle. I think it was about a week or two ago. That one of the local liquor stores here was selling it quite cheap, but I unfortunately at the time I didn't have enough money to buy it. I'm trying to save up a little bit, so I let it go that time. All right, let's just go for the palette now. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I haven't had that for a while. Wow, it's very dry. Um, it definitely has a very dry mouthfeel to it. Um, you will get a nice mouthfeel. The liquid will coat your tongue. Oh man, it goes down so well. So like I said, very dry, dusty again. The other thing is with this whiskey, I forgot to mention before, um, it's called Twofold, the Starward Twofold. This is an Australian whiskey, and what they've done with this, this is actually a combination of obviously Australian malted barley and also Australian wheat. So they've combined those two grains together, aged them in Starwood's usual wine, their wine barrels that they use for aging their whiskey, and they've put out this product. And I have to say, it was for a very reasonable price as well. Vanilla, fruits. Let's see what we're getting. It's like a apple, pear. Fantastic stuff. That's got some nice legs on it as well. I don't think you won't really be able to see it in the video, but yeah, it's pretty good there. Anthony, nice to see that you made it, mate. How are you? How did your drinks with your friend go? Were you able to, let's say, were you able to convert them or not yet? Yeah, so the finish on this is very mellow, very warming. It's only 40%. It feels a little bit higher, I would say. Not yet. You better start working on it, mate. This does feel a little bit higher than a 40%. I would say it has more of like a 40. I would say more, say 43, maybe pushing 44. But yeah, fantastic whiskey. I might just pour a little bit extra. I want to add some water to it. I don't think I've tried this with water yet, so don't want to drop that. That will do. Don't want to pour too much. And as our previous chats have gone, cork, but that's fake cork. It's not the real deal, but hey, it still does the same thing. Anthony, today I've got the Starward Twofold double grain. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is a combination of Australian malted barley and wheat. So yeah, something a little bit different for the Aussie market. Alright, let's do the bottle cap method. There we go. Sorry, guys, don't mind me if it looks like if I'm getting a bit distracted by the phone or whatnot. I think last time I did this, it actually started to overheat a little bit. I don't know if maybe there was an issue with the app or something, but I'm just trying to keep an eye on things. So yeah, bear with me for the time being. So far, so good. Okay, so the nose with water on it, or in it, I should say, not on it. Much cleaner now. It's not as dusty, but the vanilla and the let's say the vanilla is still there. Wood notes are more prominent. Again, still very refreshing, very clean. It's a very clean nose. These little flies that just keep hovering around. Okay. It does smell quite grainy, I have to say. Almost like when if you're smelling like a bag of cornflakes, or I guess even like a bag of rice. That yeah, I guess that grain note. So my head, I don't know, maybe my head mustn't be in a good spot for tasting at the moment. I can't really. I seem to be having trouble like expressing my notes, but I'll see how I go. Do I dare say cucumber again? Alright, let's go on the actually a bit spicier now. Yeah, the water has made the nose a bit spicier, a bit more peppery, but you've got to dig for it. Alright, let's see for the palate. Okay, so mouthfeel hasn't been affected. Those fruit notes are a bit more prominent now than what they were before. So there's that apple, that pear, that's a lot stronger at the forefront now, where the vanilla notes are hitting more of the back end of the palate. Wow, the legs, I don't know, you can't really see that, but for some reason now even adding the water to it now has made the legs more prominent. Let's see. Very oily. Great stuff. Do I prefer one Starwood over the others? Okay, yeah, so good question. As far as their core range goes, not really. They've got their single malt and their wine cask finish bottlings that are part of their two core expressions, though they are going through a rebranding at the moment, and I think now the wine cask has been renamed to the Starwood Nova. I'm not sure yet what they've made the other one yet. I'm not sure if it's been announced or if it's something that they're working on, but yeah, they are that's great. Thanks, Mark, mate. Oh, so how much longer does he have to go? I think, okay, so on my end, it's saying that he'll be on at 6:45. Okay, so I've got a bit more time to go. Yeah, so, but at the moment, I have to say one of my most favorite expressions from the Starwood range that I've had so far have been their bourbon cask finish. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition run. I was lucky to be able to get a bottle of it myself, but that came only in a 500 ml bottle, unfortunately. So yeah, 200 mils short of a regular size. And that's a real shame, because that is absolutely an incredible whiskey, and it's one that I've been really trying to savor and not finish too quickly, just because it's so nice. And the unfortunate thing is, like I said, being a limited edition, once it's finished, I won't be able to get another one unless somebody's trying to flog one on the secondary market, and I'm not sure how much they'd be going. going for, to be honest. I'm not sure if you would still be able to get them from the distillery, but I have a feeling that they'd be most likely to have sold out. But yeah, the Starward Bourbon Cask at the moment, again, like I said, that one has been my favorite that I've had so far. There's one thing that they had done which was really cool. I think it was for their 10th anniversary. They released unfortunately it wasn't a 10-year age statement. I was really hoping that it would have been, but what can you say, it wasn't. But what they had done, they had released a 10th year anniversary special edition bottling, and the cool thing about that was you had to buy it as a double pack. That's the way they sold it, still for a decent price at least. Even though they were kind of making you buy 2 bottles, the price wasn't over the top, so that was really good. But the really cool thing what they had done was on the bottles and on the tin that they came in, you had obviously Starward 10th anniversary special edition bottling. On one of them it said for drinking, and the other one for collecting. So I guess obviously they knew that you would have had a lot of people that were wanting to probably buy them to either drink or collect. So they gave you the option to buy 2 bottles and to finish off one as well. Is there any other? Sorry, Raz. Let's see. Is there any other brand of whiskies that you think are similar to the Starward you're drinking? Oh, good question. I would have to say that this one is probably more. It's more characteristic of a bourbon. I'm guessing because it's got the wheat in it. It is probably more characteristic of a wheated bourbon. So unfortunately, I haven't tried too many wheated bourbons myself at the moment, and unfortunately, my bourbon experience at the moment is quite small. I haven't tried all that many myself, but at the moment, from what I'm guessing, from what I'm trying to figure out, imagine Maker's Mark, but with a fruity note to it. So if you've tried, sorry, flies, they just Australia Australia and flies go hand in hand. It's like you can't do anything about them. Yeah, so if you've tried Maker's Mark before, just imagine that with a fruitier note to it. So that Maker's Mark would say apples, pears, plums, that kind of thing. Actually, the interesting thing that I've got this Starward with me today, I don't know if any of you had seen it at all, but yesterday Roy Aquavite posted up an article, quite an interesting article about how quickly the whiskey industry is expanding and growing, and whether it's a good thing, whether we're heading for I guess a bust in the whiskey scene again. And by that I'm meaning more so, will there be a like another whiskey crash that happened in the 80s. So that was a very interesting article. If you haven't read it yet, he posted the link up on his Twitter page. So if you get a chance, definitely go over and check that out. It was a really good read. And in the article, they were going on about how there's been a big industry, a big boom in the the craft distilling industry. Although they're very small at the moment. But what they're trying to say is that even though with all these small distilleries popping up, soon there will be like a flood in the market in the whiskey industry, which may cause the prices to drop, which is a good thing for us. It allows us to buy our whiskeys at a cheaper price. But also in comparison, say, to the really big distilleries that are just pumping out product at an unbelievable rate. Yeah, and like talking about some of the big players in the whiskey industry, I can't even fathom the amount of whiskey that they're producing. I can't remember which distillery it was, but one of them it might have been Glenfiddich, have boosted their production up to 200 million liters of whiskey a year. Man, that is an incredible amount of product. I can't even imagine like how much that would make. Imagine going to your local store and finding 20 million liters of Glenfiddich sitting on your shelf. Yeah, but yeah, very interesting read. If you guys have the chance, definitely go and check that out. Actually, Anthony and I were from New Dram were having how much gin? Oh man, gin's everywhere. But having said that, I guess especially for a lot of the younger distilleries, like I know the ones in Australia, for example, whiskey obviously takes time to make, whereas products like gin and vodka, they can pretty much start producing straight away and start bringing profit into their distilleries, and really that's what they need to do. I mean, unless you've got major financial backing to be able to self-fund yourself in an industry like this would be extremely difficult and very expensive. I'm sure not many people out there would be able to do it without either having financial backing from somebody else, or say producing their own products to get them started. Mark saying, visited Glenfiddich 2 weeks ago and they are doubling their production. The new facilities are in place, but extra production won't start until this summer. Okay, so they still have their time to go before they go gangbusters. Actually, I'm sure it was still during the evening for Mark at the time. It was early morning for me. I think it was about 12:30, 1 o'clock at the time. But Anthony and I, New Dram, we were having a pretty interesting discussion about some of the changes that may be happening with YouTube, and especially in regards to like things that we can do to help the whiskey tube channels to survive and to kind of not be wiped out of existence from YouTube. Unfortunately, one of the problems that we have, say as whiskey tubers on YouTube, is the fact that whiskey is obviously and I got this one fly that just won't leave me alone. I swear I had a shower, I don't smell. But yeah, so obviously whiskey is an alcoholic product. Alcohol is not supposed to be advertised on YouTube, and you are definitely not allowed to provide, say, links to retailers or to your own sites that may sell or provide alcoholic products. And we were kind of talking about what this could potentially mean for whiskey tubers in general, and some of the talk that some other people have been having is what can we do to make sure that we as whiskey tubers are able to continue doing what we're doing and to stay on this fantastic platform that YouTube have created. I mean, it's a wonderful free platform at the moment. easy to use. We're able to put out reviews and product information based on an alcoholic product. At this stage, we're still allowed to do it, I guess, as long as we follow, I guess, a few basic rules, or obviously for not advertising the sale of whiskey. And yeah, I guess just outright not. I think that one of the most important things that we can probably do is just to not go crazy with it. We have to make sure that we stay sensible and that we promote a safe and responsible drinking culture. I think that was probably the main topic that Anthony and I were discussing. Like, pretty much what can we do to make sure that we are able to keep to make sure what is it that we can do to make sure that we are able to keep doing this. And so I think some of the ideas that we had were great, and they were more so to do with maybe outright advertising, say the responsible drinking of alcohol and things like that. Maybe one of the suggestions that I had was that maybe if YouTube was to treat, to treat channels that focus on alcohol, to maybe have a restriction there that won't allow minors to view our content. I guess every country has their age restriction for consuming alcohol. I know in Australia it is 18, so I know even for us, whenever I go onto a whiskey website, whether it's Starward or Glenfiddich, whichever, I always have to enter in obviously your birth date and whatnot, make sure that you are of legal drinking age in your country. I think that probably it might be a bit extreme, or maybe considered extreme, but I think that might be a good thing for YouTube to kind of establish. I think if we were to outright advertise that we are reviewing an alcoholic product, then maybe as a pre-warning, maybe like a little message would come up saying that look, this video contains either mature content or alcoholic content, and maybe restrict the viewership. I mean, obviously the majority of us are way over our country's legal age, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's just more so trying to promote a safe drinking culture, I think, is one of the main things that we should do. And I know, say in Australia, I'm sure the UK is probably very similar as well. We don't have a very good drinking culture, unfortunately. We've got that typical attitude of you go out, get into fights, punch ups with everybody, and it's all like alcohol fueled rage. And unfortunately, that's not what we're about. But when people, but a lot of people's preconceptions about, say, whiskey drinkers or beer drinkers or whatnot is that we're just drunks getting behind a camera, and that's not true at all. So I think we really need to try and push the point that no, that is a minority. And we are not like that. And it's the same with everything, whether it comes to politics, religion, or that kind of stuff. You'll always have a small group of people out there that have to come along and ruin it for everybody else. I mean, I'm sure the majority of you, if you go out to your local pub or bar or whatever, you're going with the intention of going there to have a good time, just to relax with your mates, have a drink, whether it's a beer or whiskey or whatever. you don't want to go getting into having a fight or whatnot. You just want to sit there and enjoy your drink and enjoy your time spent with your friends. And it's very frustrating just when you go out to places and you just see people getting outright rowdy, just doing shots like crazy, just getting absolutely wasted. And then you have the typical thing of, hey bro, what are you looking at? You want to fight? And it's like, oh, here we go again. This is not the way to promote our culture. I say, we are a whiskey culture. We are cultured people, and or we're wanting to be, and we're doing that by exploring a product, and a fantastic product. I mean, whiskey is something that should be shared with everybody. It should be enjoyed, and it should not be something that has this stigma put over it. We're not all angry bar brawlers. We just want to sit back with our friends, meet new people, and enjoy a dram. So I feel like I've kind of gone all over the place. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, to be honest. I think for now, guys, successful chat, I would say. It went well. I haven't had any issues with it so far. I think for now I'll leave it where it is. I've got about 8 minutes or so before Roy Aquavite goes online. I really wanted to make sure that I didn't go cutting into his chat, because I mean, let's face it, I know as soon as he goes live, well, then this chat room is empty, and I won't have my audience anymore. So for now, I'll leave you here, and I'll meet you over in Roy's V Pub, where we'll continue to share a dram. I think I'm going to keep going on with this Starwood for a little bit longer. I think the coffee machine at the moment is calling my name, so I'm going to make myself a nice coffee, and yeah, and enjoy the V Pub. So guys, I'll love you and leave you here, and I'll join you in I'll join you in the next room with Roy and everybody else that comes in. So for now, obviously to you guys in the chat now, my faithful subscribers, thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this on the replay and you're new to the channel, please feel free to start subscribing, tap that bell notification so you can stay up to date with all my new content, and whatever live chats that I may do, you will be notified of these things straight away. And until next time, everybody, drink responsibly, drink safely. This is what we were talking about yesterday, Anthony. Make sure that you're of legal drinking age in your country before you start drinking. And I'll see you all next time. Kirpis.